Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Dion Hopkins, and you're watching the Human Nature Project. Thanks for tuning in to the YouTube today. I got a good show for you. Let's get started. Let's talk about perception, right? You can't go anywhere without influencing perception or being influenced by perception, right? Everything you do on a day to day basis has something to do with how you perceive the world, right? But let's talk about how people perceive you, okay? Let's look at social perspective, right? How the world looks at who you are. It might not necessarily be the truth of who you are, but that's how they see you. You know, when a big guy walks into the room, you're like, oh man, he must be either a fighter or, he's a jarhead or something. The thoughts already go through your mind as soon as you see someone based off their personification, based off of who they lay out, who they present to you, right? Doesn't necessarily mean it's true. You could just been born that way. But let's focus on how you present yourself and how you want to be perceived or taken. You know, so let's get into that, right? So the first thing I want to talk about is how you define your identity, right? How do you see yourself? Do you know your worth? Do you understand your value? You know, and if you don't, why? What's causing that block in your life to say, well, I don't really know who I am, and how do I find out? You know, at the end of the day, we take so much for granted about ourselves. We forget the little things. Like if you're good at a instrument, even though you're not a musician, you don't make money doing it. You don't you know do anything with it. You don't go on a road. You don't teach whatever. You're still good at that instrument, right? So that means you're still an artist in some form of fashion. Okay, but because you're not like a rock star or something, you downplay it. But that's still something that you do. And so if you ever walked into, let's say you're good at guitar. You ever walked into Guitar Center and you're like, oh, I'm gonna just pick up a guitar just so I can play around with it. You go, you pick it up, you play. The people around you don't know that you're just doing it as a hobby. If you're good and you're just sitting there playing, they don't understand that you're not a musician. Their first mindset is going to go to they play, right? So that goes with everything in life, okay? So if you're in the grocery store and you're in line and you're counting coupons and you're sitting there and you're fumbling with coins and you're like, oh man, I don't really know if I have enough. That day you could have left your wallet in the car and didn't feel like going back out to get it. I've been there. I've done that plenty of times. I'm like, okay, I don't want to go get my wallet. Let me see how much cash I have on me. See if I can actually get this. Because most of the time you never understand. Like you never think about it until it's too late. You get to the cashier or you get to the drive-through window and you're like, I don't have my card with me. It can be embarrassing sometimes, but we all go through it. And sometimes you might not have enough. But the perception of that situation is out of your control now, right? The people around you all perceive that to be a certain situation. Now, how do you stop that? One thing, you cannot stop someone's perception of you. You can only alter the presence you give off. Okay, so the main issue becomes you not realizing the presence you give off. You know, one instance that comes up a lot, and I mean a lot, especially in my community where I come from. With me myself, because of how the environment I grew up in. As a colored man, I have the dreadlocks. There's a certain presence that we give off. There's a certain I don't want to say lack of appeal because a lot of us are very appealing. Not to speak for myself, but there's still this identity that you get. You hear it all the time about the little old lady crossing the street whenever you walk by, or the women clutching their bags. I don't have to go into details about that. Everybody knows what that story is about. Um, but there's a certain identity you get, and it could be far from the truth. I mean, I'm a kind person, you know. I'm a very friendly person, yet I still see the way that people look at me when I walk. I have a certain walk about me. My shoulders are back, my chest is up, my chin is high. I'm self-aware. I don't have any any identity crisis. I know who I am. So when I walk, it exudes that. So when people see it, they're like, man, he think he's too good for himself. You know, or, he must be a thug. Whoa, hurt my heart. You know, but there's a lot of people out there, and I see it every day that you just don't understand their story. So you give them an identity because you don't know that person based off of their social perception. You know, based off of what they're presenting to you. You see a guy in the grocery store, pants sagging, wearing what they're wearing now, skinny jeans, white t-shirt, some gold, and you say, thug. He's somebody's baby daddy and he ain't taking care of them kids. I mean, that's just what you say, That's what it is. I hear it too many times. Yet, that's somebody's child, somebody's brother, it could be someone's father, but the truth is we don't know. So we give that identity. The only way to stop that for yourself is to make sure that you every day present yourself in a way you want to be perceived. Right? Now, is it right that people make that assumption of you? No, but we can't change other people's minds. The only thing we can do is change how we reflect to society, right? So, do you have to? No. Should you want to? Who cares? You know, the we deal with fact based knowledge, right? Real, raw. I don't care about your feelings. You probably don't care about mine. So just look at it like this. If you're sagging in the grocery store, you're gonna be called a thug. You can be a very nice person. Who cares? I see thug. If your if your child is running around in the supermarket or in the DMV or whatever, you're gonna get looked at as a bad parent. Sorry. That's perception. That's what it does. Now, it works both ways. If you're walking around in a business suit, you know, people are going to say, yeah, well, he must be important. He must have a good job. You drive a nice car. Oh, he must do something good. He must make a lot of money. Unless you're black, then they're going to think you're a drug dealer. But that's a whole different story. Um, but that also goes to the culture. That goes to the culture. That goes to why people wear certain brand names and why they've been infatuated with marketing and becoming a brand because the perception of them, right? You don't want to get looked at as a bum or a nobody, so you wear brand names and you drive fancy cars and stuff, unless you're self aware and you don't care. If you don't care about the perception, then who cares? So that's the end goal, to become self aware. To become aware of the value that you bring to your social surrounding, your community, your environment, and not giving a care in the world about what anyone has to say about you. You know, that's that's the end goal, but it's hard to do when you've been cultivated in a society that only cares about image and perception, right? So you can either change your social perception or change your mindset about your social perception. And that is the biggest key of it all, right? So The one thing you want to make sure you do, right, when you're changing your social perception is keeping in fact your truth. You know, you don't want to deter who you are. If you're a thug, be a thug. You know, more power to you. If you got 6 kids and you don't take care of none of them, you're deadbeat baby daddy, and that's what I'm gonna call you. Own it. Own it, 100%. You know, if redneck, white trash, country, black and ghetto, however you want to do it, whatever you want to call it, own it. That's what you own up to. You know, me, I'm a city cowboy. You know, I wear cowboy hats, boots, but I'm city as it come. You know, it is what it is. It's perception. You know, so change your mindset of it, and you change what everyone else look at you as. You know, when was the last time you walked in the store and you seen someone in an outfit and you're like, they're trying too hard. That's what? They're trying too hard. You know? And then when you see someone that's decently dressed or just got something on, you just look. You know, there's not too much. It's not too little. It's just like, oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna keep on going about my day to day. Keep moving. See someone that's not dressed. Oh boy, you might laugh a little bit, but you know you're not supposed to. You don't know their story. So a different show though. We don't get into that. But you know, changing your social identity can be as simple as changing your mental state, changing your mindset of your own identity. Become self-aware, you know, which means in layman's terms, being aware of the value you bring. You know, they say know your worth. Uh, yeah, know your worth, son. Yeah, just be aware of your value that you bring to the table. You know, that's all that matters in reality is who you are and what you're doing to be yourself essentially. You know, and being a good person. You know, in the eyes of everyone around you. You know, the ones that you care and love about. I don't care about the people in the grocery store or the people at the DMV. We care about those around us. We care about those in our homes, in our immediate families, in the families of the people who we love. You know, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever. You know, however you see love, we care about those. You know, so we never want to give off an identity that we don't. You know, if you're embarrassing your woman every time you go out, take a look at yourself. You know, it's not what a man does. I'm talking to my king specifically right now. Stop embarrassing yourself for one. Please stop embarrassing your woman. Please. Like, look, please, I'm asking you. Stop giving power to this social environment that cares nothing about you. Okay? Stop giving power to the people that mean you so little, yet you give them so much control of your life. It's not worth it. It's not. You're worth so much more. You are so much more valuable to yourself and the people in your lives than you could even fathom. You are important. Your persona should represent that. Uh, that's all I got to say, man. You know, like, comment, subscribe across all the board. You know, and just let me know exactly what you think, how you feel. If you got any questions, you go into more details.